Are you ready for some news? Oh, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. It's time for the good news, the bad news, and the other shit. Good news, bad news, and other shit. This is Thanksgiving week, so, there's a lot to prepare for. But we might as well start off with the news of the day. Convicted murderer Charles Manson has died at age 83 in jail. It's on the news wire. Spent the latter part of 50 years in jail for the most famous slayings of all time, Tate LaBianca murders here in Los Angeles. I remember when all that occurred here in Los Angeles and the feelings of fear that people had, the feelings of horror that was all mixed in with part of that whole eclectic experience. Charles Manson, dead at 83 years old.
Should I cry for a moment, or is it about time?
And who knows?
Okay.
Right. So that's another whole discussion about the value of death, what death means, and we don't know what people. I believe in karma.
Yeah.
But I also believe many of us have done stuff that we wouldn't want to acknowledge or that we're not even aware of. So.
Oh yeah.
That's all part of it.
Yeah.
So so long to Charles Manson, dead at 83. Vic, it's been like 2 months. And the power grid still is terrible in Puerto Rico. What's amazing to me is that the lack of news, the lack of information, only certain people continue to report on this. And I'm a little aggravated and angry because I would expect more from, again, the Democratic Party. Wow.
Okay.
Failure to fill in the leadership gaps. This is another area. Has anyone heard anything? Is there anyone out there championing the cause of Puerto Rico? Is it happening? Or is it just like crickets? Silence. Nothing. And when there's crickets and silence and nothing, that blame needs to be spread amongst all of the leadership, okay? All of them. For doing nothing, or at least no visible attempts to make up the slack. So these are our second-class citizens who are moving en masse from Puerto Rico to other cities.
Coming to the state.
Well, the thing about it, right, they are citizens, so they're free to move about.
Absolutely.
And then go, and I hope they move to states with the best benefits.
And they already know
this. Get the best benefits that they can get for the lack of leadership or help. So it's just amazing. And you cannot convince me that it's not being done because of racism. Puerto Rico, the fact that it doesn't have statehood.
You think
this is racism? The fact that it's people of color,
right?
They're getting neglected, right? They're getting, they're pissing right on their head and telling them it's rain right now.
Oh yeah,
right in front of us. Okay, so that's a shame. That is just a shame. And Paxtero is going to continue to report it. We hope that it bothers people.
So let me ask you this: had this happened under any other presidency, would the outcome be roughly the same? Disenfranchised, economic, unbelievable meltdown because they already had a portfolio of immense debt. What would be the difference? And would the accountability still go to the leadership of that particular jurisdiction locally? At some point, even with this happening, because you and I know this, people study, the development of your community, your state, no matter what. They're always doing what they call, here's the plans and here's the inevitability that if this happens, it's always existing. Take away Trump and say it happened under Obama, Clinton, anyone else. What would be the outcome?
It might be a little better, but the point to me is that the situations that led to this
That's right.
They existed under all of those
That's right.
presidencies.
That's right.
Obama could have done something.
Yeah.
They knew about the power grid in Puerto Rico
Yes, they
being
did.
archaic.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, it's what they want to spend their money for. They have no trouble coming to ask you for money for military excursions, but they seem to have a lot of trouble asking you for money to help people out. So I think that if Obama had been president, it would have been better, but not great, not excellent, and that he had his opportunity also to take a leadership role in these areas. All of them you have to indict, to me, to some degree.
What value of Puerto Rico when people hear about it in the States? When you say Puerto Rico, there's the T word that comes in. What other commodities do they have? What other value chain do they have in exchange? Because
as far as I know, nothing that
tourism only. Right?
Tourism and rum.
Is that it?
Tourism and rum.
Is that enough?
It's a slave colony, so that has a lot to do with who's living there and what they look like.
Right.
So no, it's all of that.
Okay.
And so that's America, and once again, you know, in shock.
Yeah.
I want to remind you of that. It is Thanksgiving week, and as part of that, I want to remind you that there's a good chance that you'll be at the dinner table with folks whose political opinions, let's just say, you won't agree with. In many instances, these are your direct relatives, your aunts, uncles, mom, or dad. Mom, dad, brother, sister, cousin, who you have political views that are distinctly in opposition to yours. And I'm warning you because I think this Thanksgiving in particular, we're at risk of having wars break out in a bunch of Thanksgiving celebrations. So, I don't know. I have some suggestions. One, in anticipation of Thanksgiving, why don't we make a list of those people we think are going to be potential problems for us? Right? Let's make a list. Mom, dad, auntie, uncle, cousin. And then make a list of things that we would like to talk with them about. Be proactive. In other words, you might be able to come up with a list of 3 to 5 things that you can't wait to talk to your grandmother about, despite her blatant homophobic and racist opinions. She is your grandmother, and while she uses the N-word regularly and preaches about gays, she's still your grandmother. So I suggest you come up with 3 to 5 things that you can discuss with her that you'll enjoy. Let's be proactive. And let's do that for every family member that we're anticipating seeing this Thanksgiving, with whom we usually argue. Because the potential is there to have some really big arguments. Used to be, Vic, you would just argue about sports, right?
Right.
I mean, the biggest thing was the boring Dallas and Detroit.
That was it.
Football games. I think we're stuck with that again this year. They might not be so boring.
Right.
But those are the things. But now we have politics to argue over.
That makes it better, right?
And I want to, well, there you go. And I want to remind you that all of us are going to be sitting down this Thanksgiving with people whose views we are diametrically opposed to. Okay?
Okay.
We all do. So remember that. And remember working at trying to get along, keeping your mouth shut. Okay? And again, as a proactive suggestion, I suggest you prepare 3 to 5 conversation items. Usually ask them something about themselves that you like. Like, if you love your grandmom's cobblers,
right,
get her to talk about that and not how she feels about gays.
Well, you know what? You're doing a great. You know what? You hit the nail on the head.
Get her to talk about those things.
Now, Mario, how you got family tradition? How does it work with you?
My family usually fights about something.
Yeah, right. He's gonna fight. I know
even my own friends.
Mine is going like this. Oh, you guys are LA. That's it. You don't have to say anything else.
Well,
everything else is done. You're LA.
All of
That's
us.
Alabama down there.
Yeah, all of us who have family and down south or back east.
Right.
We're always in Los Angeles looked upon as the other group.
Yes.
We are.
Any
We are.
philosophy.
And always some comment. There's always some comment about who we're dating.
Right.
You know, they used to make comments about, my family, and they used to go, oh, it's so nice to see Mario dating a black woman. I would probably, go, okay.
I like that.
But there's all of us. There's a bunch of us who have to deal with that. At the time, I had many years that I was with a Latina. And so that was part of the joke about the West Coast family. We had more interracial connections out here.
Right.
Than they did seemingly on the East Coast. So,
Yeah.
But, so my family's just like those. We are a melting pot. We will have Muslims and Jews. At my table, we have a whole, section. The Buddhists. We have the vegetarians or would-be vegetarians. We got the political leftists. We have the Obama lovers, the Hillary Clinton supporters. I got family who loves Hillary Clinton, to my chagrin. Okay. All right. So we will be there, and so that's why I bring this up, because you might as well let it go. My views are distinctly left of all of my family. My mother still has an Obama shrine. A lot of black people, what's Obama shrine? That's when older black people put up like pictures of Obama, Michelle Obama, put candles and other little shit around it, Because I call that my mother's Obama shrine. She has the pictures and some candles, maybe a cross, so that goes to show you where my family is. So we want to tell you that.
Right.
One of the other item I wanted to bring out today is that this perception, and I'm not sure how to deal with this, Dick.
What is that?
There's a number of polls that show white folks who feel that they're under attack or oppressed. There's actually a bunch of polls that show that a bunch of your millennials feel like they are oppressed. Now, my point is oppressed by who?
Right.
Or whom, and who do they blame for this? But that's one of the polls, and there's a bunch of them, Big. There's a bunch of them.
Right.
Nearly half of white Southerners feel like they're under attack. Well, let go of all that racism. If an attack on racism is an attack on you, you probably are under attack. Okay, right? Because, like I said, I understand if at the Thanksgiving Day table we were to attack all the homophobes,
Right.
they would feel under attack.
Well, I always believe in this, and I don't know if anyone shares this, but karma's a bitch. So if your opinion has been to slight someone else, that's an attack on them if you're treating them less and you make them feel they don't belong. Karma's a bitch. It comes around, and it can come around politically, economically, or otherwise. So if it's your time to share that, then it's your time. I'm not mad at it. I just believe in the circle of experience. Whether it's justice or not, I'm not getting into that. Just the circle of experience.
Because these are people's feelings. They're not necessarily backed up by facts.
Right.
And there's the question. If you're white, you feel like you're under attack, who are you blaming?
Yeah.
I can tell you if you're a rural, white, farmer, or any kind of rural community, you are under attack. Please don't blame black Americans for that. Okay. Please don't blame black Americans for that. If you are in the suburbs, and it's amazing. Like I said, a bunch of your millennials feel like they're oppressed.
Right.
Okay? All right. But then again, that's a relative thing. Oppressed by whom and in what ways?
Right.
But again, I rather than dismissing this, I think it's important that we acknowledge people's feelings and do something, because part of the misunderstanding that exists between all of us is we have been dismissing this. So,
true.
It's a topic to talk about.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're under attack.
I'm not going to say too much.
You're not going to say anything.
You know, it hurts when all of a sudden when you've always been at a position where you've always been the judge, a personal judge, for any reason, whether you belong in the community or not, and you've never felt that before. It's an unbelievable experience when all of a sudden you go like, oh, wait a minute. We're under attack. It's, oh, this is the worst of it. This is the worst of it. So you still live in a majority, and somebody has an opinion. And so somebody's basically saying your way and how you think is grown old. Some people have an opinion about you have to let them go. So for me, I'm just letting you guys go. That's about the best I can do for you right now.
And there it is. That's been the good news. The bad news. And the other